Hi folks, I'm Chris O'Donnell and this is my Christmas wish list. Where do I start? Little bit about myself. In 2019, November, our local area took a massive big blow on the mid-north coast of New South Wales to the devastating fire crisis. I was absolutely shattered and gutted and just in shock when I saw some aerial footage of some of our local region that was just absolutely annihilated by the fires. And yeah, it just absolutely destroyed me in many ways. So I decided to launch my first Facebook wildlife group, which I've never done before. I've never dealt with wildlife, never worked with any volunteer group in my entire life, had no idea what I was getting myself into, and yeah, it's been the biggest emotional rollercoaster ride of my entire life. Since trying to save countless animals and just network online and tackle hundreds if not thousands of tasks during the crisis, I've now fallen in love and become extremely passionate about helping wildlife carers in Australia who suffer, yeah, they just are the most inspirational, phenomenal people I've ever stumbled across in my entire life. Yeah, they're my heroes, and they suffer in so many ways, not only from verbal abuse and all that sort of stuff, but financially. It's an emotional burden that I wouldn't wish upon anyone from what I've learnt. Yeah, it's just, wow, I just don't know how they do it, and yeah, they just amaze me. So yeah, forget about me for a minute. Why I'm here and what my wish list is about is trying to, improve the lives of others and trying to melt some hearts around Australia and hopefully globally. For starters, there's a lady, Catherine Koch. We all know her as Kat. She's the founder of Wild Animals Australia, which is a Facebook group, and Kat has, around almost 30,000 followers online. She's a phenomenal human being. I've only spoken with Kat on the phone, but wow, she's just absolutely amazing in thousands of ways. She's one of Australia's leading carers when it comes to all bird species. She's also dealt with reptiles. She's helped countless people around Australia, even including myself. And little did I, emotional. Little did I, yeah. I wish I could pause this. Little did I know, even while she was helping me, she had breast cancer. She's had a double mastectomy. She's endured almost 13 months of chemo. Her first bit of chemo kicked off. Please bear with me, I'm looking at some notes behind me, there's so much to get through. Yeah, her first bit of chemo was on the 28th of October 2019. Yeah, she's just battled nearly 13 full months of chemo, and we were hoping for some, positive results, but sadly about 3 weeks ago, I was totally gutted when I heard it. Yeah, she's been told she's got another I'm a mess. Yeah, she's got at least another 26 weeks of chemotherapy ahead of her. Not only that, she has to move house by the 5th of January, which is just crazy. And it's a home that she's had for 20 odd years, their own home, which they've had to sell. And due to, the costs of all her treatment and stuff like that. And yeah, the person who's allowed them to rent the home has now decided to kick them out and demolish the place and build some sort of complex, who knows what. But yeah, it's just absolutely shocking news, especially considering what she's been through and and what lies ahead of her and her entire family. So I'm going to put a massive call out to the city of Brisbane, especially the south side of Brisbane, but everyone, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and yeah, worldwide hopefully. Yeah, so one thing I'd like to ask is for the community to, like a furniture removalist company, to jump on board and hopefully volunteer their services to help Kat and the family move. She is only wanting to relocate within the Brisbane area, so it's not a long distance haul, but she just needs all the help she can possibly get. She has asked for nothing. This is, sorry, something that I've taken on myself, and yeah, I don't know why, but I do. Sorry, Kat. Also a bond cleaning company, if there's anyone out there who'd like to offer their services, yeah, it'd mean the world to us. Wow. Also, all real estate agents within the Brisbane area. If you could please, like Kat's looking for roughly a 3-bedroom home. It has to be near access to the train services throughout Brisbane. Yeah, and also a pet-friendly home, as she's, or an animal-friendly home, sorry, as she's a wildlife carer and hoping to get back into it once her battle with cancer is over. Also, yeah, 3-bedroom home, hopefully more than a quarter of an acre. And yeah, if all private, you know, people with private rentals or any real estate agents could please, you know, share their info of available properties in those sort of categories. It'd mean the world to us, because it'd save Kat a lot of, you know, logistical nightmares trying to research all that information herself while she's unwell. Also, I'm hoping to launch a charity auction night, and I've approached the Callum Vale Hotel, which I don't know anything about Brisbane. I'd be lost there in a split second. But I've heard it's a phenomenal place. It's huge. I've looked at it online. I spoke to them the other night, just over the phone. The lady who answered the phone was phenomenal, incredibly helpful. And I'm hoping to talk to the events coordinator tomorrow, some stage Monday. And fingers crossed they might allow us to hold a function there to help raise some funds for Kat and her family. My goal, I suppose, for that is roughly $20,000, and I'm hoping to put that towards 12 months rent. So Kat and the family don't have to worry about paying those sort of bills, you know, during this horrible time. You know, she's gone through enough, and yeah, she's got so much so much of a fight ahead of her. So all the help, you know, we can drum up, you know, would be just fantastic. I've got no idea of how to run a charity auction. I don't have any transport myself, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to, I doubt I'll be able to attend it. I'm also on a disability pension, so money's extremely tight. But I'm just going to wing it and try and host a charity auction somehow, and hopefully, you know, the business community and all that sort of stuff, and, you know, locals will jump on board and, you know, create a miracle. Sorry. Part 2. We also have another carer couple in the south side of Queensland, a phenomenal couple who run the Possum Place, Bruce and Rhoda. I won't mention their last name, just so, you know, it gives them a little bit more privacy for now. Rhoda has just been, wow, inspirational to me in countless ways. I've asked thousands and thousands of questions to learn about our wildlife and carers. She's answered every single question and never told me to get stuffed, thankfully. Also, yeah, I found out, I've launched 3 wildlife groups, as I mentioned. One's called Help Our Wildlife Recover. You'll find it on Facebook. Another one's called Heartwarming Moments of Kindness, also on Facebook. And this is a big part of what I'm trying to do with that group. And I've also launched a community-based wildlife volunteer group in Callum Vale, Queensland, south side of Queensland, Brisbane, sorry. And yeah, I just want to, you know, do amazing things for our wildlife, for our carers, and create, you know, amazing, you know, yeah, ideas and projects that, you know, won't cost anyone a cent to be a part of, and won't cost a cent to run, and won't cost anyone, you know, anything to set it up. So, and I'm constantly thinking outside the box, and I'm pouring everything I have into this, you know, 7 days a week and putting ridiculous hours in. But yeah, it's something I know I'll do till the last breath I take, you know. I won't give up on, you know, doing what I've been doing. If you haven't heard of motor neurons disease, sadly I found out only a few months ago that Bruce has motor neurons disease and it has no cure whatsoever. Instead of going into the graphic details, I'll leave a link attached to this YouTube video in the description. If you can't find that, just make a comment below and I'll assist you in finding it. We all know the Australian heat just, can be phenomenal, especially in a home, rental properties and stuff like that with poor insulation. And yeah, pretty much a lot of our homes here in Australia during the heat of summer can be an absolute oven, and just almost unbearable, especially if you've got even a common cold or a disease or an illness or an injury. It just takes a massive toll to be able to, cope with that heat. So what I'm asking for is hopefully someone from the business community in the Brisbane area, possibly, or somewhere around Australia. Harvey Norman. Sorry, gonna cry again. Harvey Norman or someone like that, if you'd like to jump on board and supply or kindly donate an air conditioning system for the home and someone to install it, that would be, wow, incredible. Sorry. Also, they do, obviously wildlife rescues, like the care they do for possums and yeah, the help they give other people, and yeah, they're just absolutely amazing in thousands of ways once again. Their car also has an air conditioning system that's packed it in. They've been quoted $3,000, but that could be a ludicrous quote for all I know. I know nothing about cars, I'm hopeless with them. But yeah, as you can imagine, trying to drive around in the, in the Brisbane or the Queensland heat, is bloody hot, to say the least. But aside from doing rescues and trying to transport animals to vets and all sorts of stuff and do releases and stuff, you can imagine those cars become a toxic oven. So if there's someone out there in the business community, an air conditioning car specialist, if you'd like to volunteer your services, wow, that'd be phenomenal as well. I know it's a huge ask, but yeah, I'm just willing to wing it, and hopefully someone out there will give us a hand. Yeah, and I'm also trying to launch. Well, sorry, I've launched a group in their area. I've spoken to local council, Calamvale Council, or the Calamvale Ward as it's known. I spoke to the councillor there, and she was absolutely phenomenal. That's only been fairly recently, but hopefully the idea and the group that I've launched up there will explode in thousands, well, not thousands of ways, but in multiple ways, and hopefully I'll be able to, duplicate that idea and take it nationwide, and it won't cost anyone a cent. It'll be educational, kids, families, everyone can get involved. It'll be phenomenal for our wildlife, it'll be phenomenal for native plant enthusiasts, and the general community in many ways. Right, now I'll move on. We also, last but not least, we have a lady by the name of Michelle Kraatz. Michelle is another just wow factor, phenomenal human being. She's based in Rockhampton. Michelle's a flying fox carer, and I know flying foxes have an extremely bad rap, but most of it is bullshit, to be honest. Please excuse my language, but not. Yeah, Kat has been witnessed walking into extremely, thick mud, wading her way through and then into chest-deep water in crocodile-infested waters to rescue just one bat. She's also been filmed. I've seen footage of her in the tallest of trees, rescuing flying foxes or just one bat at a time, and she's scared of heights. That just goes to, show how amazing she is in countless ways. The risk she'll take to save just one animal. Michelle puts in around 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there's no days off in the wildlife care course for any wildlife carer. Yeah, so she's clocking up around 140 hours a week. Our wildlife carers get no financial, support whatsoever. It's a, it's a labour of love that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. What they do is just insane in the most beautiful ways. Yeah, and Michelle has blown her entire life savings. She has no car of her own now. She's, her superannuation has gone everything that she's owned. She's, sold or cashed in for the sake of saving flying foxes. Our flying foxes aren't, you know, in huge numbers, as reports say. Many are, you know, endangered and critically endangered for some species. And most people don't know that without flying foxes there would never ever be any koalas, and many other species would not exist, would never have existed. Flying foxes have been a part of our skies for more than 46 million years, and they are our greatest pollinators. People think bees are our best, but flying foxes dwarf them when it comes to, you know, nighttime pollination. Most eucalyptus species won't pollinate, like they've adapted to being pollinated by our flying foxes. So there'd be no eucalyptus trees whatsoever for our koalas. There'd be no eucalyptus forests. The Blue Mountains would not be the Blue Mountains without, you know, our flying foxes. So I'm going to put a call out. Yeah, Michelle, like I said, she's putting in 140 hours a week. 35 of those hours at least are chopping up fruit for the flying foxes. At the moment, I spoke with Michelle yesterday in depth, and she's very, very hard to get hold of because she's just absolutely flat out. There's just no stopping her. She's just a machine in a crazy way. Yeah, so she's putting in 35 plus hours per week solo by herself, chopping up fruit for the flying foxes. So I've contacted the Shoalhaven Bat Clinic, and I spoke with a lovely lady by the name of Janine, and I asked her about the fruit chopping machines and are they worthwhile having, you know, if you're a flying fox carer. And she said it was the biggest game-changing, you know, device or a piece of equipment that, you know, that they've ever laid their hands on. Yeah, so to say it won't help Michelle would be ludicrous. It would be an absolute godsend in countless ways. I did speak to, I think it's, yeah, Semic Australia, and the gentleman said, like, he matched up the exact item that Janine from Shoalhaven Bat Clinic has used, and it's called the Samic, that's SAMMIC, C for Charlie, A for Alpha, -401 veg prep machine, and the recommended retail price is $4,044 plus GST. The gentleman from Semic Australia has generously offered the same piece of equipment for $2,770 plus GST, including freight. So they'll ship it all the way from Victoria all the way up to Rockhampton and, you know, to Michelle's doorstep. But yeah, hopefully we can find someone who'd like to back that and save Michelle 35 hours a week minimum, you know, in just standing there chopping up fruit, which is ludicrous, but she's crazy in a good way. Also, if anyone from the Rockhampton, Yeppoon area, which I've never been to either, I don't know, I'd be lost there in a split second also. Yeah, if there's anyone that'd like to volunteer their services as a volunteer driver to help out Michelle, you know, even just, I'm going to also approach Coles and Woolworths up there and hopefully set up a unique way, which will be new, yeah, of a food donation program. So if you live within that local area, yeah, please, you know, stay tuned, because I have an idea, and I won't bore you to death now, but yeah, hopefully I'll have a system that'll save Michelle around $700 per week in fruit costs alone, just for the flying foxes, which is just another phenomenal thing that she's, you know, another burden that she's taken on all on her own. And yeah, she's actually been filmed by ABC Capricornia. I'll attach a link to that also, and the Girl Guides have backed her in 2019, I think it was, during the fire crisis. Yeah, and it's definitely a worthwhile video to watch. It's bloody cute and cool and informative. Also, bear with me for a sec, sorry. Yeah, also, Michelle has no car. As I mentioned, she's even sold a car to cover the costs of, you know, flying foxes. And when you add up rescues, vet bills, $700 a week alone just in fruit, and then, you know, the costs just skyrocket. It's just crazy. And late 2019, I think it was, Michelle did sorry, I'm just looking at some notes. Michelle did 192 rescues in 94 days. That's 192 rescues in 94 days, which is just, you know, when does she stop? You know, it's just crazy. She's just, yeah, I mean, like I said, a machine. I don't know any other way of putting it. So yeah, she's using her mum's vehicle. I've spoken with her mum. She's trashing the car in a sense, because she goes up dirt roads and all that sort of stuff, even though it's not intentional. But yeah, I know what it's like not having a vehicle. I was ripped off earlier in the year, and yeah, I haven't had a car for many months, and it sucks. It's really bloody hard to get by, and it's depressing in many ways. And yeah, like I said, I'm on a disability pension, so I don't get around easily, and I'm not rich at all. But yeah, so if anyone, I know it's another huge ask, but if anyone would like to donate a second-hand car or four-wheel drive or something like that, yeah, like I mentioned, she's in Rockhampton, which is far north Queensland, the Capricornia area. Yeah, please get in contact with us, and yeah, I'll be happy to pass on a car for Christmas for Michelle. Folks, thank you so much for bearing with me. Yeah, sorry, like I said, I've been totally, yeah, new to this. Bloody nervous about doing it, and I've put hundreds of hours into this, and you know, a lot of worries about how I was going to do this, but I just thought I'd take a risk and give it a go. Thank you.